Welcome back to the More People podcast. I'm your host, Richard Hanwell, Managing Director for More People. I'm thrilled to say I'm joined today by Jordan Waobikeze. For the few people out there, Jordan, who don't know who you are, would you be so kind as to introduce yourself?
So my name is Jordan, Senior Consultant here at More People. Joined the business back in February, working on the commercial desk.
Jordan, you obviously studied in Bath, living in London, having got a degree in molecular biology, which seems like a natural route straight into recruitment.
Yeah.
What brought you north? What brought you into the world of recruitment?
Well, the progression really is, went to Bath, lived in London, was working in the financial district, Canary Wharf, doing the London life. Hated it.
Why?
A few things. I mean, I lived in London my whole life, and I think the novelty of London can wear off quite quickly.
Yeah.
And for me, I wanted to get out of it. It's somewhat claustrophobic in London. I think it's overpopulated, but different podcast, different conversation. So wanted a change of pace. Also, you know, the cost of living in London is crazy.
Yeah.
So I wanted to get away from that. So I moved to the Midlands, trying to figure out, you know, what's next, what makes sense. Ended up in recruitment, as many recruiters, the sage story of falling into recruitment.
Yeah.
Did that for 2 years, and then More People came on the radar. And after a lengthy recruitment process, I joined.
Fantastic. And look, studying for such a degree and then choosing to go down a different path is quite often seen. But what can you draw from those studies, from that 3-year stint, that understanding into the world of recruitment?
Much of my generation are studying degrees that they end up don't using in their careers. But for biology into recruitment, I think what I really focus on is, you know, body, health, mind, how you can optimize the day, managing certain things. We work in a highly pressurized sales environment.
Very stressful, yeah.
How can you manage things like that? I mean, you've got the health trifecta: sleep, diet, exercise. But if you really want to get into it, and I won't deep dive into kind of biomechanics here, but there's certain things you can do to manage cortisol, manage stress, manage blood glucose. But for sales, I think it's super important to have a consistent routine where you can bring some consistency throughout the week, because we know what a roller coaster recruitment is.
Yeah, into an inconsistent world, right?
Basically.
And you touched on there routine and the power of routine. How do you manage that?
It's got to start with sleep. You have to have some sort of sleep schedule, go to bed, wake up same time every day, even the weekends, which can be hard when you want to have a big Friday. Beyond that, exercise is huge for managing cortisol, stress, but there's certain things you can take, like ashwagandha, to kind of manage cortisol.
Okay.
So you can take beetroot juice. It's one thing that I'm doing
more
these days. I'm quite impressed by the efficacy of it. 300 milliliters of beetroot juice can lower blood pressure.
Oh, wow. And
Significantly.
these are the hacks, right, that you found through research and knowing the know?
You know, from studying, from research, from talking to people, you have to bring some level of consistency to the day. It's such an emotional roller coaster. You're going to have ups and downs, and part of it comes from just recruitment experience. You know, you find you're a little more resilient after the 100th no compared to the first 2 when you want to punch someone.
Yeah. Or yourself.
Or just kind of, you know.
I think you're right. I think, look, work in general is stressful, all manner of different roles. It's not to say recruitment's more stressful than any other job, but I think sometimes we forget, we look after people's careers day in, day out, and you forget how big a change it is for someone. My father moved jobs twice in a 50-year career. You know, it doesn't happen that regular. It's more regular for people to move now, but we are managing that process. And the change curves that candidates and clients will go through are phenomenal. And we have to remember that. We have to take them on this journey, be that sounding board, and a bit like parenting, act like it's not affecting us, even though it is, and then have that consistency. But in order to maintain that consistent approach and style, there has to be consistencies in our own lives. And it's difficult, whether no matter what's going on in your life, whether it be parenting, work, relationships, whatever, it is difficult, but we can always help ourselves, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And it's easy to forget that we are meeting people in perhaps the most stressful period of their life. The emotional ups and downs they'll go through, when to us it's our everyday.
Yes.
You know, it happens, like you mentioned, quite rarely for people. And I think we can kind of guide the hand, we can calm things down,
Yeah.
we can take the lead. If they see us stressed, nervous about their career, their lives, what the hell are they going to think?
Exactly.
So I definitely think it plays a
And with
part.
clients, there's multiple reasons why somebody is hiring, and the timescales around it can be stressful, and candidates are hard to come by. We have to go out there and find these individuals, find the passive audience, and managing the client stress levels as well. Your morning routine's quite unique and quite cold. Is that correct?
Some could say it's icy.
Talk us through that.
I've been deep diving into the benefits of cold therapy, specifically ice baths, and what it can do for you. So, you know, tried it out, spent the money. I've got this huge, ungainly ice bath in the middle of my bathroom, which the girlfriend loves. But each morning I try and start with a 2-minute ice bath.
How challenging is that?
The first week was rough. I'm not going to lie and say I did it every day.
Right. Okay. Fair enough. Have you seen the benefits?
Hugely. I think, you know, as a natural shot of adrenaline, it's amazing. Beyond that, it can lower levels of inflammation, which stress can increase. And if you're working out regularly, that's fantastic. Can lower blood pressure, brilliant. But also, I think it helps with just managing the ups and downs and the rigmarole of a day in recruitment. If you can come in calm, if you've done something extremely hard, the very first part of your day, you know, everything else in comparison seems easier.
Kind of eat that frog.
Oh, yeah.
The most difficult thing in the world or the most difficult part of your day is to eat the frog. Eat the frog early. Get it done. Everything else will seem easier.
Yeah.
Procrastination will kill you at some stage, or derail your day at the very least. Taking a look into your time with us and daring to dream and looking at the future, you've had a hugely impressive start to your time with us. You're a fan favourite amongst all. What would you like to envisage the future looking like for yourself with MorePeople?
I suppose it kind of piggybacks on the growth of the business. You know, it's been made very clear the ambition for the growth of the business, you know, going to a 50-man headcount and then beyond.
Yeah.
I'd like to think I'd play a part in management moving forward, touch wood, and helping to guide new consultants through that journey, especially the first 2 years until they become fully fledged senior consultants. And then adding value to the business as we go, process optimization and avenues for growth.
What attracts you to that kind of mentoring piece?
I mean, from a purely selfish point of view, you get a level of personal satisfaction when you help other people. So that's great.
Yeah.
I'd love to explore that further. But then if you kind of step back and you look at adding value to a business and where you can position yourself to truly be, you know, irreplaceable, if you're helping bring, you know, new green consultants through to, you know, real billers, you know, people who truly contribute to the bottom line, then from a business point of view, I hope I become very valuable to yourselves and Andy, and, you know.
Massively. You mentioned then about consultants being green and what have you, and that's what we tend to think, right? We tend to think about, I'll have to help the younger generation or the more junior and what have you. And we very recently had our annual conference based around maturity. One of the first things I said then was that I've met more mature 20-year-olds than 50-year-olds. I think never look at it as a mentoring piece to just being people less experienced to you. Your knowledge around the health, body and mind is stronger than mine, and I'm considerably older, believe it or not. But it's
Don't look.
but it's very much a case of where else can people add value? I'm a big believer in managing up, managing sideways, covering off blind spots, taking a look at what the future board for More People would look like. If everyone's got a very similar makeup to myself and Andy, all we'll do is agree. That doesn't necessarily work. When you read the right literature and you're taking a look at certain books around blind spots and how that can help, people can mentor and manage in all manner of different ways. But I think that's really exciting, because me and Andy are very similar, and it does work. But having other individuals, other backgrounds, other mindsets means that people can mentor up and sideways all the time. It just makes us a better business. That's the part I think you will play a massive part with. And who knows, we might all have ice baths come the end of the year, maybe.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah, purple ones, obviously. What are the kind of trends that you're seeing appear or change or differ in the kind of behaviours of the talent at this moment in time?
I think we're seeing a shift in the power dynamic from candidate to client, in honesty. I think we are seeing, previously candidates were spoiled for choice in terms of vacancies. I think that's shifting slightly towards the client.
Okay.
And candidates are having to flex criteria, for want of a better word, more towards the client. I think we're seeing a shift back to office working.
Okay. How's that going down?
Not good.
Right, okay. In the post-COVID era.
No, I mean, COVID let the genie out of the bottle with work from home. It's not going to go back in. But I think what we saw is people flex that work from home piece perhaps a little too far.
Okay.
I've spoken to people who live in Liverpool with a head office down in North London.
Okay, yeah.
When the criteria's come to the office once every 2 weeks, that works. When it changes to, we're going to need you in 4 days a week.
Yeah.
Doesn't work anymore.
Yeah, it changes dramatically. You're a fan of hybrid working, and you can see the benefits, and we too embrace it. What do you see as the kind of key real benefits for that hybrid piece?
I think from a business point of view, candidate attraction is huge. You open up a pool of candidates that otherwise wouldn't be available to you. If you are challenged from a locality point of view, instead of being locked to a 30-mile radius around site, you can open up to 50, 60. So you can open up a wider and arguably better talent pool from offering work from home. And also, you'd like to think there'd be a longevity piece with the people you do hire. People who can strike that work-life balance.
Yeah.
Often are more satiated and are happier in the role.
Yeah.
You'd like to think, even if certain things weren't 100% ideal, from salary to career progression, people could stomach it a little more if they had a little more flexibility.
People aren't just asking for more cash. It's not just a money thing. I get things are tight, interest rates are high, cost of living. It is pressurized out there. But what I'm seeing across all of the main kind of 9 sectors that we recruit into is that people strive for the work-life balance. People are living longer. They're going to be at work longer. They need that balance. Hybrid working, topic of conversation in a lot of exec dinners. It's not necessarily a trust thing, but trust is earned. And not everyone just wants to stay at home and watch Love Island. People actually want to be getting on and doing some work, right? But it is a tricky one if the roles are factory based, or to your point, osmosis learning or being in front of other colleagues. It is really, really key. But I think it will continue to evolve. Candidates, yes, that they had multiple choices, and they still do to a degree in different sectors. But I think it is very much about positioning themselves as the best possible candidate, what they can offer, and then a balancing act between what's right in said package and what the candidate can give to the client, I guess. Jordan, been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much. You've been a superstar of a guest. I'm sure you'll be back on soon.
Brilliant. Thank you for having me.
Cheers.